G'day, Tomo here from Tomo's Tune-Ups. On this episode we are talking about Selector forks available at Minisport. So there are a couple of different types of Selector forks depending on the type of gearbox. There's ones for magic wand, remote and rod change. So depending on what you have, make sure you order the right one. Now, this is a normal wear and tear item, meaning that through everyday use, this is going to wear. Generally what happens is the legs between here generally tend to spread out, which means there's excessive movement. When there becomes excessive movement, when you go to put it into gear, you find that you really need to shove it into gear and you're punching the dash to be able to engage the gear correctly. Not only that, but it also increases the amount of throw. So the amount of movement you need to be able to put that gear stick in and out of gear, and then also creates that little bit of sloppiness feeling. Now this, as I said, is a general wear and tear item, but the reason why it's wear and tear is because it's made of brass. Brass is significantly softer than the hardened steel available that is inside the classic Mini gearbox. So this is the Selector hub and this is the Selector fork. They essentially mate on here just like this, and they do need to be a nice firm fit. So this one has little to no movement, whereas the one that I previously replaced on this Selector hub was rather loose. So essentially, like I said, this is a wear and tear item and it is going to wear over time. So chances are, if you haven't had these replaced in your classic Mini or Moke engine or gearbox recently, chances are it's probably worn, especially if it's from the 60s. So being a wear and tear item, there are a few different components in which you do need to check to make sure that this is the fault, if not something else is. So the easiest thing to replace first is going to be the gear stick, then the yoke or the coupling inside the actual Selector mechanism itself, the little piece between the Selector rod and the gearbox itself in a rod change, for instance, or the little coupling that sits on the back side of the gearbox. Those ball and socket joints are going to wear as well. So there are quite a few different components from the gear stick all the way down to the Selector, and it's worthwhile checking all of them before pulling the gearbox out and replacing these. As I said, chances are, if you don't know if this has been replaced and there's heaps of slop in there, chances are this is probably contributing to it, but it's worthwhile noting to make sure you check all the other components first before going and replacing these. These are quite expensive, and at one stage during COVID I did struggle to find some, and I have done these on previous videos of both rod change, magic wand and remote change gearboxes. But now that they're kind of coming back into circulation, they are a bit of a bespoke part. You do pay quite a lot for them, but they are worth their weight in gold. If you're unsure, make sure you either reach out to me or one of the team at minisport.com.au, and we'll see you again on the next episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups.